Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at a story that, well, it's ancient, but honestly, it feels surprisingly relevant. We're talking about Hagar and Ishmael from Genesis chapter 16. Family, desperation, divine intervention. It's all in there. So glad you could join us for this. Whether you're new here or you've been with us before, thanks for tuning in. Our plan today, we want to really unpack this section, go through it almost line by line, see what insights we can find. We'll look at the characters, their motivations, the culture they lived in, which is crucial, actually, and how their choices ripple outwards. It's all right here in the text. And trust me, there are some emotional moments and, well, some unexpected twists. Ready to jump in? Okay, let's break this down. It starts with Sarai, Abram's wife. And the core problem is stated very simply. She bore him no children.
Right. And that phrase, bore him no children, it just lands with such weight in that context.
Huge weight. It's not just personal sadness, is it? It's societal.
Yeah.
It's about lineage.
Absolutely. In the ancient Near East, having children, especially sons, wasn't just nice. It was foundational. It meant continuity, divine blessing, status.
And the text points out this happens after Abram had been in Canaan for 10 years.
10 years. That detail matters. It shows how long they waited, how patient they might have tried to be before Sarai reaches this point of, well, desperation.
Yeah, a decade of waiting on a promise. The pressure must have been immense. You can almost feel it.
Definitely. And that's the backdrop for Sarai's proposal.
Right. She comes to Abram and says basically, look, God hasn't let me have children. So please go sleep with my handmaid Hagar. Maybe I can build a family through her.
She offers Hagar her Egyptian servant.
And Abram. The text says he hearkened to the voice of Sarai. He just agrees.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because, well, to us it sounds maybe strange, but culturally?
It wasn't totally out of left field.
Exactly. Hagar was Sarai's property, legally speaking. Any child Hagar bore through Abram would legally be considered Sarai's. It was a known practice, proxy motherhood, concubinage, a way to secure heirs if the primary wife couldn't conceive.
So Sarai's trying a culturally acceptable, if maybe, human solution to what she sees as a divine delay.
Precisely. It says a lot about how critical heirs were and maybe suggests Sarai's own hope was wavering a bit.
Okay, so Hagar becomes central to this plan. Abram sleeps with her, she conceives, and then boom! The text says, when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Instantly. Things just flip.
Yeah, the power dynamic just completely shifts. Hagar, the servant, now carries the heir. Sarai, the mistress, is barren.
And that phrase, despised in her eyes, it's loaded, isn't it?
Totally. Does Hagar actively scorn Sarai, or is Sarai feeling scorned because of her own pain and jealousy?
The text doesn't spell out Hagar's exact internal state, but the effect on Sarai is crystal clear. She feels utterly betrayed.
And she lets Abram know it. Her complaint is just raw. My wrong be upon thee.
Yeah, I gave my maid to you, and now that she's pregnant, she despises me. Let the Lord judge between us.
It's quite the turnaround. She set this up, and now she blames Abram for the outcome.
So what does Abram do? How does he handle this household explosion?
His response is, it's jarring.
It really is. He says, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee.
Basically, she's your servant, you deal with her.
He completely steps back, washes his hands of it.
Yeah, it's a total abdication.
Which, again, might reflect the patriarchal norms. He delegates that authority back to Sarai. But it doesn't exactly paint him in a great light here, does it?
Not really. His inaction, his refusal to mediate, essentially gives Sarai permission to lash out.
And it leads directly to the next tragic step.
Which is?
And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her face.
Hagar runs away. Pregnant, mistreated, running into the wilderness.
Just imagine that. Alone, pregnant, in the desert. It's a picture of utter vulnerability.
What hope could she possibly have? It seems like the end of the line.
It does. But then, something extraordinary happens. Divine intervention.
Right. The text says, and the angel of the Lord found her.
Not just bumped into her, found her. By a spring of water in the wilderness, on the way to Shur.
A specific place. It feels very intentional.
Very, like a deliberate act of seeking her out in her distress.
And the angel asks these really direct questions. Hagar, Sarai's maid, acknowledging who she is. Whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go? Where are you from, and where are you possibly going in this state?
And Hagar's answer is just stark. I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai.
No excuses, no blinking, just the plain truth.
It's such a powerful, simple statement of her reality.
It really is.
Yeah.
And this encounter, it's more than just helping Hagar in the moment. It says something bigger.
Like what?
Like, even when human relationships fail, when people are cast out or overlooked,
Yeah.
there's a divine seeing, a divine hearing.
Ah, okay. So the angel tells her what to do.
Yes, and it's tough. Return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. Wow, go back. To the person who treated her harshly, that must have been incredibly hard to hear.
Unimaginably difficult. But right alongside that command comes this amazing promise.
This is the incredible part. What's the promise?
I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
A promise of a huge lineage, countless descendants, given to her. A fleeing handmaid.
Exactly. It's this profound validation, confirmation that she matters, that her line will endure, even in this absolute lowest moment.
She's seen, she's heard.
Precisely. And the angel gets even more specific. Tells her she's pregnant with a son.
And tells her the name, Ishmael.
Yes, Ishmael, which means God shall hear.
Because, as the angel says, the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
The name itself is a testament. It confirms God's awareness of her suffering. It's not just a name, it's a declaration about God's nature.
Wow. So this encounter isn't just about rescue, it's about identity, future, divine recognition.
Absolutely. But there's more. The angel also gives a prophecy about Ishmael himself.
Right. This is the part that really gets talked about later. What does it say about his future, his character?
It's a striking description. And he will be a wild man.
Wild man. What does that even mean here?
Well, the Hebrew word often implies someone living outside the settled agricultural communities, more like a nomad, free roaming. Think wild ass of a man is sometimes how it's translated. Independent, untamed.
Okay, so maybe not savage, but fiercely independent.
Exactly. And then it says, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him.
That sounds pretty conflict heavy.
It does suggest strife, yes. A life marked by contention, perhaps. But then the final part, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
So not totally isolated or destroyed, living alongside even if there's tension.
That's a key part of it. It suggests coexistence, resilience, people who maintain their place despite opposition. It's a complex prophecy, not just purely negative.
Okay, that nuance is important. And how does Hagar react to all this? To the prophecy, the promise, the command?
Her reaction is profound. She gives God a name.
She names God.
Yes. She calls the Lord who spoke to her El Roi, which means, thou God seest me.
That's incredible. After feeling invisible, despised, fleeing, she names God based on the experience of being seen.
Think about the impact. She
Yeah.
reflects, have I also here looked upon him that seeth me? It's like she's amazed she survived encountering the divine and that this encounter was about seeing her.
And the place itself gets named too, right?
The well becomes Bir Lahairoi, the well of the living one who sees me. It becomes a sacred spot, a marker of this life-changing encounter between Kadesh and Bir.
A physical reminder in the middle of the desert of being seen by the living God. Powerful stuff.
Really.
So after this whole ordeal in the wilderness, Hagar does return.
The text implies she does, because the next verse says, and Hagar bore Abram a son.
And Abram names him.
Abram called his son's name, whom Hagar bore Ishmael, just as the angel instructed.
So the prophecy begins to unfold. Abram gets a son.
And there's one final detail the text gives us.
What's that?
Abram's age.
Yeah.
And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram.
86.
86. It emphasizes how long he waited, the advanced age. It sets the stage for later events too,
Right.
but it grounds this birth in that long history of waiting.
It really completes this particular chapter of the saga, from Sarai's plan born of desperation,
To Hagar's conception and the immediate conflict.
a flight into the wilderness,
The incredible encounter with the angel.
the naming, the promise, the prophecy.
And finally, the birth of Ishmael. It's quite a journey in just 16 verses.
Yeah, it really is. When you break it down like that, it's packed.
Absolutely packed. Themes of, human attempts to fix things, the fallout, power dynamics, jealousy.
But also divine intervention, being seen when you feel unseen, promises for the future.
Exactly. It shows how God can work even in the midst of really messy human situations. Hagar's story is just remarkable in that sense.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Genesis 16, what are the key takeaways for you, for our listeners?
I think it's a powerful reminder of the complexity of human emotions and relationships, even in these ancient foundational stories, and the consequences of choices, especially when power is involved, but also, profoundly, the idea of El Roi, the God who sees.
Yeah, that stands out, doesn't it? That even in the wilderness, in flight, in despair, there can be this encounter, this sense of being known, being heard. It speaks to resilience. For all of you listening, maybe think about that idea of being seen. And hey, if a particular verse or moment from our discussions really stuck with you, maybe from this dive or previous ones, feel free to share it in the comments. We genuinely like seeing what resonates. And we'll leave you with this thought to chew on. That prophecy about Ishmael, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. What does that make you consider today? Is it a prediction of unavoidable conflict? Or is it more about the enduring nature of a people, their independence, their coexistence, even amidst tension alongside their relatives?
It's a question people have wrestled with for centuries. The ripples are long.
Definitely something to reflect on. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us, for digging into these texts with us.
Yes, thank you.
If you found this valuable, if you enjoyed the conversation, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe to the Peace Project for All channel. Sharing it with others who might be interested really helps us continue these explorations.
It does.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions,
And keep diving deep.